ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਮਾਰਗ ਪਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗੁਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਇਸ ਰੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਨਣ ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਰੂਪ ਤੇ ਰੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ। ਗੁਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਇਸ ਰੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਨਣ ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਰੂਪ ਤੇ ਰੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਜਿਸ ਰੰਗ ਰੰਗੇ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਪੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਜਿਸ ਰੰਗ ਰੰਗੇ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਪੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਸਾਧ ਦੀ ਪੂੰਜੀ ਇਹੋ ਹੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਸਾਧ ਦੀ ਪੂੰਜੀ ਇਹੋ ਹੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਏ। ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਸੀਨੇ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਸ਼ੋਭਾ ਪਾਈਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਸੀਨੇ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਸ਼ੋਭਾ ਪਾਈਏ। ਨਾਮ ਹਰੀ ਦਾ ਸਾਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ, ਨਾਮ ਹਰੀ ਦਾ ਯੋਗ ਵੀ ਏ। ਨਾਮ ਹਰੀ ਦਾ ਸਾਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ, ਨਾਮ ਹਰੀ ਦਾ ਯੋਗ ਵੀ ਏ। ਨਾਮ ਰੰਗੇ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ, ਹਰ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਰੰਗੇ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ, ਹਰ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇੱਕ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਹਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਾਂਗੂ, ਨਾ ਜੰਮਦੇ ਨਾ ਮਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇੱਕ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਹਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਾਂਗੂ, ਨਾ ਜੰਮਦੇ ਨਾ ਮਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਕਰਦੇ ਚੱਲੋ ਗੱਲ ਹਰੀ ਦੀ, ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਕਰਦੇ ਚੱਲੋ ਗੱਲ ਹਰੀ ਦੀ, ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਅਵਤਾਰ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਤਨ ਦਾ, ਅੱਜ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਕੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਨਹੀਂ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਤਨ ਦਾ, ਅੱਜ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਕੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਮਾਰਗ ਪਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਘਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਮਾਰਗ ਪਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। सतगुर वाले जिस रंग रंगे उस विच पैंदी पंग नहीं। सतगुर वाले जिस रंग रंगे उस विच पैंदी पंग नहीं। मेहर गुरु दी गुर सिखां दे बिगड़े कम बनांदी ए। मेहर गुरु दी गुर सिखां दे बिगड़े कम बनांदी ए। मेहर गुरु खांदे सारे परम मिटांदी ए। मेहर गुरु दी गुर सिखां दे बिगड़े कम बनांदी ए। मेहर गुरु दी कर देंदी ए गुर सिखां सदा निहाल। मेहर गुरु दी कर देंदी ए गुर सिखां सदा निहाल। मेहर गुरु कर देंदी ए गुर सिखां मालो माल। मेहर गुरु दी कर देंदी ए गुर सिखां मालो माल। मेहर गुरु दी गुर सिखां पै तो निरपै कर दिए। मेहर गुरु दी गुर सिखां पै तो निरपै कर दिए। मेहर गुरु गुर सिखां दे सारे ही दुख हर दिए। मेहर गुरु दी गुर सिखां दे सारे ही दुख हर दिए। ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਰਸਨਾ ਤੇ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਏ। ਗੁਣ ਆਪਣੇ ਖੁਦ ਗਾਇਨ ਕਰਦੀ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਅਖਵਾਂਦੀ ਏ। ਗੁਣ ਆਪਣੇ ਖੁਦ ਗਾਇਨ ਕਰਦੀ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਅਖਵਾਂਦੀ ਏ। ਮਿਹਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਜਿਸ ਤੇ ਹੋਵੇ, ਉਹ ਜਨ ਭਾਗਾਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਏ। ਮਿਹਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਜਿਸ ਤੇ ਹੋਵੇ, ਉਹ ਜਨ ਭਾਗਾਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਏ। ਮਿਹਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਜਿਸ ਤੇ ਹੋਵੇ, ਉਹ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਨਿਰਾਲਾ ਏ। ਮਿਹਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਜਿਸ ਤੇ ਹੋਵੇ, ਉਹ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਨਿਰਾਲਾ ਏ। ਮਿਹਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਿਗੜੇ ਕੰਮ ਬਣਾਂਦੀ ਏ। ਮਿਹਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਿਗੜੇ ਕੰਮ ਬਣਾਂਦੀ ਏ। ਮਿਹਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਭਰਮ ਮਿਟਾਂਦੀ ਏ। ਮਿਹਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਿਗੜੇ ਕੰਮ ਬਣਾਂਦੀ ਏ। ਨਿਰਧਨ ਦਾਤਨ ਤੂੰ ਦਾਤਾ, ਨਿਰਧਨ ਦਾਤਨ ਤੂੰ ਦਾਤਾ। ਮਾਲ ਖਜ਼ਾਨਾ ਨਾਮ ਤੇਰਾ, ਜਿਸ ਬੇਕਰ ਦਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜਿਸ ਬੇਕਰ ਦਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ। ਠੌਰ ਠਿਕਾਣਾ ਨਾਮ ਤੇਰਾ, ਨਿਰਧਨ ਦਾਤਨ ਤੂੰ ਦਾਤਾ। निर्धन दातन तूयों दाता, निर्धन दातन तूयों दाता। हर कारज दा करता तू ही, मालिक आप स्वामी है। हर कारज दा करता तू ही, मालिक आप स्वामी है। सब दे दिल जानन वाला, सब दे दिल दी जानन वाला, तूयों अंतर्यामी है। निर्धन दातन तूयों दाता, निर्धन दातन तूयों दाता। अपने हाल ते अपनी हद नू आपे ही ये जान सके। अपने हाल ते अपनी हद नू आपे ही ये जान सके। अपनी ये मर्जी होवे, अपनी दी मर्जी होवे, ता कोई पहचान सके। निर्धन दातन तूयों दाता, निर्धन दातन तूयों दाता। सिफत शलागा करनी तेरी, मेरे वस दा रोग नहीं। सिफत शलागा करनी तेरी, मेरे वस दा रोग नहीं। ए अवतार गुरु दी बख्शिश, ये अवतार गुरु दी बख्शिश। मैं ते किसे भी योग नहीं। निर्धन दातन तूयों दाता, निर्धन दातन तूयों दाता। माल खजाना नाम तेरा, जिस बेकर दा करना होवे, जिस बेकर दा करना होवे। और ठिकाना नाम तेरा, निर्धन दातन तूयों दाता। ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜੇ ਮਨ ਵਸੇ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜੇ ਮਨ ਵਸੇ, ਚਾਨਣ ਥੀ ਭਰਪੂਰ ਕਰੇ, ਸਬਰ ਸਬੂਰੀ ਕਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਵੇ, ਸਬਰ ਸਬੂਰੀ ਕਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਵੇ, ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਵਿਧਾ ਦੂਰ ਕਰੇ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜੇ ਮਨ ਵਸੇ। ਸੌਖਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ ਜੀਵਨ ਪੈਂਡਾ, ਸੌਖਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ ਜੀਵਨ ਪੈਂਡਾ, ਹਰ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਆਸਾਨ ਬਣੇ, ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਮਾਣ ਮਿਲੇ ਹਰ ਥਾਂ ਤੇ, ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਮਾਣ ਮਿਲੇ ਹਰ ਥਾਂ ਤੇ, ਜੇ ਬੰਦਾ ਨਿਰਮਾਣ ਬਣੇ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜੇ ਮਨ ਵਸੇ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜੇ ਮਨ ਵਸੇ। ਸੜਦੀ ਬਲਦੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਅੰਦਰ, ਸੜਦੀ ਬਲਦੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਅੰਦਰ, ਨਾਮ ਤੋਂ ਠੰਡਕ ਆਏਗੀ, ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਦਾ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰਕੇ, ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਦਾ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰਕੇ, ਹਰ ਰਾਹਤ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏਗੀ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜੇ ਮਨ ਵਸੇ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜੇ ਮਨ ਵਸੇ। ਡਰ ਤੇ ਭੈ ਸਭ ਮਿਟ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਡਰ ਤੇ ਭੈ ਸਭ ਮਿਟ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਖਾਹਿਸ਼ ਪੂਰੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਏ, ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਤੇ ਭਗਤੀ ਹੋਣ ਜੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ, ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਤੇ ਭਗਤੀ ਹੋਣ ਜੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ, ਰੂਹ ਵੀ ਨੂਰੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਏ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜੇ ਮਨ ਵਸੇ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜੇ ਮਨ ਵਸੇ। ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਡੇਰਾ ਲੱਗੇ, ਉਸ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਡੇਰਾ ਲੱਗੇ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਲਾਫਾਨੀਏ कचदी दुनिया कहे अवतार ए कचदी दुनिया झूठो झूठ कहानी शब्द गुरु दा जे मन वसे शब्द गुरु दा जे मन वसे चानण थी भरपूर करे सब्र सबूरी कर बिच आवे सब्र सबूरी कर बिच आवे सारी दुविधा दूर करे शब्द गुरु दा जे मन वसे। सिख गुरु दा दम दम पल पल सिख गुरु दा दम दम पल पल दास ही बन के रहंदा ए ओहो कार कमावे गुर सिख ओहो कार कमावे गुर सिख जो कुछ सतगुर कहंदा ए सिख गुरु दा दम दम पल पल। लख सियाणा होवे गुर सिख लख सियाणा होवे गुर सिख पर आपे नू मूड़ गिणे लख होवे सिख दौलत वाला लख होवे सिख दौलत वाला गुर चरना दी तूड़ गिणे सिख गुरु दा दम दम पल पल सिख गुरु दा दम दम पल पल। गुरदर उत्ते आके गुर सिख गुरदर उत्ते आके गुर सिख जानो की मुक जांदा ए पुल फुलेखे विजे पुले पुल फुलेखे विजे पुले साइस दा सुक जांदा ए सिख गुरु दा दम दम पल पल सिख गुरु दा दम दम पल पल। ਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੱਛਾ ਫਲ ਦੀ, ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੱਛਾ ਫਲ ਦੀ। ਕਰਮ ਸਦਾ ਨਿਸ਼ਕਾਮ ਕਰੇ, ਕਹੇ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਇਹੋ ਜੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਦਾ, ਕਹੇ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਇਹੋ ਜੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਦਾ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਰੋਸ਼ਨ ਨਾਮ ਕਰੇ, ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਦਮ ਦਮ ਪਲ ਪਲ, ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਦਮ ਦਮ ਪਲ ਪਲ। ਦਾਸ ਹੀ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਏ, ਉਹ ਕਾਰ ਕਮਾਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ, ਉਹ ਕਾਰ ਕਮਾਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ। ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਏ, ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਦਮ ਦਮ ਪਲ ਪਲ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ, ਗੀਤ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਗਾਈ ਜਾ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ, ਗੀਤ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਗਾਈ ਜਾ। ਇਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਰ ਪਲ ਪਲ ਚੇਤੇ, ਇਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਰ ਪਲ ਪਲ ਚੇਤੇ, ਦਿਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੂਬ ਵਸਾਈ ਜਾ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ। ਗਾਈ ਜਾ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਈ ਜਾ, ਇਹ ਪਾਕ ਵੀ ਏ ਬੇਅੰਤ ਵੀ ਏ। ਗਾਈ ਜਾ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਈ ਜਾ, ਇਹ ਪਾਕ ਵੀ ਏ ਬੇਅੰਤ ਵੀ ਏ। ਜਾਪ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ, ਜਾਪ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ, ਜਾਪ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ, ਜਾਪ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ, ਏ ਮਾਲਕ ਭਗਵੰਤ ਵੀ ਏ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ। ਵਿੱਚ ਸਮਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ। ਏਕੇ ਦੇ ਜੋ ਰੰਗ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੰਗੇ, ਰੰਗ ਏਉ ਨਾ ਮਾਣ ਲਿਆ। ਏਕੇ ਦੇ ਜੋ ਰੰਗ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੰਗੇ, ਰੰਗ ਏਉ ਨਾ ਮਾਣ ਲਿਆ। ਅਵਤਾਰ ਕਹਿਓ ਸੰਤ ਹਰੀ ਦੇ, ਅਵਤਾਰ ਕਹਿਓ ਸੰਤ ਹਰੀ ਦੇ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਏਕਾ ਜਾਣ ਲਿਆ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ, ਗੀਤ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਗਾਈ ਜਾ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ, ਗੀਤ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਗਾਈ ਜਾ। ਇਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਰ ਪਲ ਪਲ ਚੇਤੇ, ਇਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਰ ਪਲ ਪਲ ਚੇਤੇ, ਦਿਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੂਬ ਵਸਾਈ ਜਾ। ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਦਮ ਦਮ ਪਲ ਪਲ, ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਦਮ ਦਮ ਪਲ ਪਲ, ਦਾਸ ਹੀ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਏ। ਉਹ ਕਾਰ ਕਮਾਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ, ਉਹ ਕਾਰ ਕਮਾਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ। ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਏ, ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਦਮ ਦਮ ਪਲ ਪਲ। ਲੱਖ ਸਿਆਣਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ, ਲੱਖ ਸਿਆਣਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ, ਪਰ ਆਪੇ ਨੂੰ ਮੂੜ ਗਿਣੇ। ਲੱਖ ਹੋਵੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਦੌਲਤ ਵਾਲਾ, ਲੱਖ ਹੋਵੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਦੌਲਤ ਵਾਲਾ। ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਧੂੜ ਦਰ ਉੱਤੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰਦਰ ਉੱਤੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਜਾਣੋ ਕੀ ਮੁੱਕ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਭੁੱਲ ਭੁਲੇਖੇ ਵੀਜੇ ਭੁੱਲੇ, ਭੁੱਲ ਭੁਲੇਖੇ ਵੀਜੇ ਭੁੱਲੇ, ਸਾਇਸ ਦਾ ਸੁੱਕ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਦਮ ਦਮ ਪਲ ਪਲ, ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਦਮ ਦਮ ਪਲ ਪਲ। ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੱਛਾ ਫਲ ਦੀ, ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੱਛਾ ਫਲ ਦੀ, ਕਰਮ ਸਦਾ ਨਿਸ਼ਕਾਮ ਕਰੇ। ਕਹੇ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਦਾ, ਕਹੇ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਦਾ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਰੋਸ਼ਨ ਨਾਮ ਕਰੇ, ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਦਮ ਦਮ ਪਲ ਪਲ, ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਦਮ ਦਮ ਪਲ ਪਲ। ਦਾਸ ਹੀ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਏ, ਉਹ ਕਾਰ ਕਮਾਵੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ, ਉਹ ਕਾਰ ਕਮਾਵੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ। ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਏ, ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਦਮ ਦਮ ਪਲ ਪਲ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ, ਗੀਤ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਗਾਈ ਜਾ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ, ਗੀਤ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਗਾਈ ਜਾ। ਇਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਰ ਪਲ ਪਲ ਚੇਤੇ, ਇਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਰ ਪਲ ਪਲ ਚੇਤੇ, ਦਿਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੂਬ ਵਸਾਈ ਜਾ। ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ। जाप करी जा, जाप करी जा, जाप करी जा। ए मालक भगवंत विए, तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार। इक्को एक पाक अनादि, इक्को एक समाया है। इक्को एक पाक अनादि, इक्को एक समाया है। हर पत्ते थे ना है इसदा, हर पत्ते ते ना है इसदा, हर जर्रे विच साया है। तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार। ऐसे एक चो बने अनेका, एक चो सब आंदे ने। ऐसे एक चो बने अनेका, एक चो सब आंदे ने। एक नू पहचानन वाले, एक नू पहचानन वाले, एक विच समांदे ने। तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार। एक दे जो रंग विच रंगे, रंग एओ ना मान लिया। एक दे जो रंग विच रंगे, रंग एओ ना मान लिया। अवतार कहे ओ संत हरि दे, अवतार कहे ओ संत हरि दे। जिन्ना एका जान लिया। तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार। तू ही निरंकार करी जा, गीत ऐसे दे गाई जा। ਚੇਤੇ, ਏਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਰ ਪਲ ਪਲ ਚੇਤੇ, ਦਿਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੂਬ ਵਸਾਈ ਜਾ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਮਾਰਗ ਪਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗੁਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਇਸ ਰੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਨਣ, ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਰੂਪ ਤੇ ਰੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ। ਗੁਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਇਸ ਰੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਨਣ, ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਰੂਪ ਤੇ ਰੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਜਿਸ ਰੰਗ ਰੰਗੇ, ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਪੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਜਿਸ ਰੰਗ ਰੰਗੇ, ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਪੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਸਾਧ ਦੀ ਪੂੰਜੀ, ਇਹੋ ਹੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਸਾਧ ਦੀ ਪੂੰਜੀ, ਇਹੋ ਹੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਸੀਨੇ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਸ਼ੋਭਾ ਪਾਈਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਸੀਨੇ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਸ਼ੋਭਾ ਪਾਈਏ। ਨਾਮ ਹਰੀ ਦਾ ਸਾਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ, ਨਾਮ ਹਰੀ ਦਾ ਯੋਗ ਵੀ ਏ। ਨਾਮ ਹਰੀ ਦਾ ਸਾਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ, ਨਾਮ ਹਰੀ ਦਾ ਯੋਗ ਵੀ ਏ। ਨਾਮ ਹਰੀ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਾਣ ਤੇ ਪਿੰਡਾ, ਨਾਮ ਦਵਾਈ ਰੋਗ ਵੀ ਏ। ਨਾਮ ਹਰੀ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਾਣ ਤੇ ਪਿੰਡਾ, ਨਾਮ ਦਵਾਈ ਰੋਗ ਵੀ ਏ। ਰੰਗੇ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ, ਹਰ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਰੰਗੇ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ, ਹਰ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਹਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਾਂਗੂ, ਨਾ ਜੰਮਦੇ ਨਾ ਮਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇੱਕ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਹਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਾਂਗੂ, ਨਾ ਜੰਮਦੇ ਨਾ ਮਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਕਰਦੇ ਚੱਲੋ ਗੱਲ ਹਰੀ ਦੀ, ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਕਰਦੇ ਚੱਲੋ ਗੱਲ ਹਰੀ ਦੀ, ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਅਵਤਾਰ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਤਨ ਦਾ, ਅਜ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਕੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਨਹੀਂ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਤਨ ਦਾ, ਅਜ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਕੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਇਨਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਮਾਰਗ ਪਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਗਿਆਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਲਾਂਦਾ ਏ। ਜਿਸਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਮਿਲਿਆ, ਨਿਬੜ ਗਿਆ ਏ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਲੇਖਾ। ਜਿਸਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਮਿਲਿਆ, ਨਿਬੜ ਗਿਆ ਏ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਲੇਖਾ। ਚਰਨ ਧੂੜ ਮਸਤਕ ਤੇ ਲਾਇਆ, ਬਦਲ ਜਾਏ ਮੱਥੇ ਦੀ ਰੇਖਾ। ਜਿਸਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਮਿਲਿਆ, ਨਿਬੜ ਗਿਆ ਏ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਲੇਖਾ। जिसने अपना प्रभु पछाता, उसदा होया बेड़ा पार। जिसने अपना प्रभु पछाता, उसदा होया बेड़ा पार। इस जग अंदर कोई सुखिया, बाकी दुखिया कुल संसार। इस जग अंदर कोई सुखिया, बाकी दुखिया कुल संसार। बाकी दुखिया कुल संसार, बाकी दुखिया कुल संसार। जिस ते गुर पूरा किरपाल। ततीवाना उस नू लगे, जिस ते गुर पूरा किरपाल। लोक सुखी परलोक सुहेला, इथे ओथे रहिंदा नाल। लोक सुखी परलोक सुहेला, इथे ओथे रहिंदा नाल। इथे ओथे रहिंदा नाल, इथे ओथे रहिंदा नाल। ਭਗਤਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੁਖ ਉਜਲਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਜਗ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਜੈ ਜੈਕਾਰ। ਭਗਤਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੁਖ ਉਜਲਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਜਗ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਜੈ ਜੈਕਾਰ। ਨਿੰਦਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੂੰਹ ਕਾਲਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਪੈਂਦੀ ਜੰਮਾਂ ਦੀ ਫਿਟਕਾਰ। ਨਿੰਦਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੂੰਹ ਕਾਲਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਪੈਂਦੀ ਜੰਮਾਂ ਦੀ ਫਿਟਕਾਰ। ਪੈਂਦੀ ਜੰਮਾਂ ਦੀ ਫਿਟਕਾਰ, ਪੈਂਦੀ ਜੰਮਾਂ ਦੀ ਫਿਟਕਾਰ। ਵੱਖਰਾ ਮਨ ਮੁਖਾਂ ਦਾ ਰਸਤਾ ਹੋਰ
Friends, brothers and sisters, I'd like, on behalf of the Chaudhri family, to welcome you all and to thank you for taking time from your busy lives to come here to support this family in their most difficult time, at a very difficult event in their life. And just as we proceed with the program, I would just like to request, as I see some of you are being kind enough already to put your phones on silent or switch them off, so that we may take this next hour and a bit to say our final goodbye to the life that was Jagdeep Chaudhri. And I would also, on behalf of all of us, myself and all of you present, whether in the room or joining us online, like to give our heartfelt condolences to Shaji Chaudhri, the sisters, their families. This is a loss. Personally speaking, as a mother, I cannot even imagine. And I just want to, at the start of this, take a moment to acknowledge, as I'm sure you all have, I've spoken to some of you, you've all shared the same sentiment, that Shaji Chaudhri has exhibited exemplary strength and grace to bear this heavy, heavy loss. And so the fact that you could all be here to support her and the family today, I thank you for that. So, Jagdeep Chaudhri, a young man. To his family, we knew him as Deepu. To friends, he was Jag. And over these next few speakers, we hope to get some inspiration from this young man's life. And those of us who weren't that intimate with him, we will learn something more about this young man. And those who did know him intimately, please do share your fondest memories about Deepu. So, as you know, life without friends is really not a very enjoyable life. Deepu, Jag, was very fortunate to have some very, very dear friends. And I'd like to, at this point, introduce our first speaker, Kim. She has been a high school, let's say, school friend for over 30 years with Jag. And without much delay, I'd like to request Kim, please come up and share your fondest memories with the group.
I'm not the greatest at public speaking, so bear with me if I trip up a bit. So my name's Kim. I met Jag in high school. I vaguely remember seeing him for the first time in the school hallway. There was a small crowd around him taking turns trying on his glasses. And I thought, I want to try those on too. You know, I would never dream of asking a total stranger if I could wear their glasses nowadays. But you know what, I was 14. Okay, you can't blame me. They were true 90s style, okay? They were thick glasses. They had a dark, like, plastic frame. This was an opportunity too epic to pass up, okay? So I kind of like shoved my way into the crowd there, and I waited my turn to try them on. And all I have to say is instant headache, but I think it was that moment that we became friends. Okay. Sorry. When I reflect on who Jag was as a person, there are a lot of wonderful qualities that come to mind. He was down to earth. He was just a friendly guy. You know, he made friends wherever he went just by being the great person that he was. He was a loyal friend. You know, I can't believe that it's been 30 years. Like, that just like blows my mind. 30 years. And that's a long, long time. He was very thoughtful and kind. He went out of his way to make you feel special. I will never forget that he was the very first person in my life to give me a rose. They were selling them at the school, and you could purchase a rose to give to somebody for Valentine's Day. I remember that it was delivered to me in my English portable. And all I can say is, wow, like I was blown away that anybody thought that I was worthy enough to receive a rose. That made me feel really special. He had a way of doing that, right? He was a funny guy. I remember meeting up with him at the mall once. Sorry. And we went into one of my favorite stores, Chapters, so that I could look at some books. I recall asking him if he had any favorite books or authors, and he looks at me with a straight face and he goes, "Kim, I'm blind. I don't read books." I was like, touche, Jag, touche. We had a good laugh. We had a good laugh about that. He was loving. I know that Jag had a lot of love to give, and I wish I could have seen him find the love of his life, as I'm certain that she would have been loved more than any person on the planet. I told him to hurry up and find her because, you know, selfish me, I really wanted to go to my first Indian wedding. You know, I have to admit, an Indian wedding looks like it would be a ton of fun. So, you know. So every time that we bumped into each other on the street, even if it had been months or even years sometimes since the last time we saw each other, it always felt like yesterday. There was never any awkwardness when we would chat, and I really loved that about him. My biggest regret, though, looking back, is that I wish when we agreed, when we saw each other in person, that we really needed to get together sometime, that we didn't get sidetracked by day-to-day life and never followed through with those sentiments. I do not want to make the same mistake again with my friends or loved ones. We all need to make the time, set the date, make those you care about a priority whenever you can. Jag and I never talked about religion. It never really came up in our conversations. And I think that is because I never fully developed a relationship with God until about 2 years ago. I wish that I had a chance to share with each other our religious beliefs. I would have loved to learn more about Hinduism and how his religion shaped him into the man that he was. Although I do not know much about the Hindu faith, I would not even attempt to reference something that I don't totally understand. I do believe that regardless of our religious differences, we worship for love, connection, peace, higher knowledge, a greater meaning to life. It is my belief that when our body dies, the soul continues to live. And I believe that people who live a good life according to their religious faith have a greater place to go after this. If this is the case, then I know with all of my heart that Jag had the fast pass through to the pearly gates. I think, and again, this is just my faith that I wanted to share with you guys today. I think that we receive messages from heaven all the time, but most of us are too busy to hear. In the 4 days leading up to Jag's death, I got 4 separate emails each day from a group that I follow called Proverbs 31 Ministries. They were titled as follows. Day 1, facing difficult facts with faith. Day 2, how do I hang on to hope when I'm still hurting? Day 3, how do I know it's God's voice? And my final message on day 4 was our hope for broken things. All of them had a message pertaining to our sadness when it comes to loss. They all speak to how keeping faith in tough situations and knowing that we are not alone, even when we sometimes feel like we are. I am overwhelmed with a sense of peace knowing our Heavenly Father is always with us, and that when we die, it'll be a glorious thing to actually be there with Him again. And that makes me smile, you know. I take comfort in Scripture, and in my dark days when I feel sad or hopeless, I open my Bible and I read. It is there that I find peace. In Psalm chapter 16, verse 8, it says, I know the Lord is always with me. I will not be shaken, for He is right beside me. You are never alone. We are never alone. During Jag's struggles, I know he was never alone either. In fact, I recall having a dream about him about a month after his accident. It was a pretty vivid dream. In the dream, he was having a great time with his dad. He was just chilling out. And he looked happy in my dream. I often thought about that dream over the past year, and I took comfort in knowing in my heart that his spirit was always on the other side with his dad, with his family, not in a hospital bed. To Jag's beautiful mother and his sisters, I am so deeply sorry for your loss. I cannot even begin to comprehend your sadness and grief. This has been a tough year for you all, and I pray for your strength. One poem that comes to mind for me when I feel deep grief is Footprints in the Sand, and I'd like to share that with you today. One night, a man had a dream that he was walking along the beach with the Lord. Across the sky flashes scenes from his life. For each scene, he notices 2 sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to him and the other belonging to the Lord. When the last scene of his life flashed before him, he looked back at the footprints in the sand, and he noticed that many times along the path of his life where there was only one set of footprints, that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times in his life. This really bothered him, and he questioned the Lord about it. He said, Lord, you said once I decided to follow you, you would walk with me all the way. But during the most troublesome times of my life, there's only one set of footprints. I don't understand why when I needed you most, you would leave me. The Lord replied, my precious, precious child, I love you and I would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. I hope that this poem is able to give you even a small amount of peace. Your God is with you. Lean on Him and let Him help you during this time. In Matthew 11, verse 28 to 30, Jesus said, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. I'm thankful that I was given the opportunity to say my final goodbye to my dear friend a few days before his passing. Thank you so much for that. I know that hearing is the last sense to go before we pass away. And although I was not able to see him in person, I'm confident that he could still hear my words. I told him that I look forward to the time when we will see each other again, because it'll happen. It's not goodbye. Jag, I will never ever forget you. You were the first ever to give me a rose. So let me be the last one to give a rose back to you. I love you, my sweet soul brother. And somebody else put some roses before, after me, so I'm just gonna take mine and give it back. So I'm the last. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. That was a beautiful, inspiring, heartfelt goodbye or to give to your friend. Thank you very much. And while we're on friends, I would like to request Lindsay to come up next and also share her loving words for her friend.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. My name is Lindsay. Douglas and I were lucky to be such great friends with Jaggy as we called him. The void created by the sudden tragedy of someone as beloved as Jag is still hard to grasp. Unfortunately, I know this feeling all too well. I don't know if you ever truly get out of your grief in such a tragic thing. I first met Jag when I was a teenager. Then after high school, we went in different directions. Who knew that 15 years later, he would come back into my life through Douglas? When Douglas and I lived in Barrie, Jag would be at our house every day. He became not just one of our best friends, but our brother. Jag was an integral part of creating a solid foundation of friendship in our group. The two of them would spend their time together razzing on each other, poking fun back and forth. It was a very comical relationship that had me laughing all the time. One thing Jag used to brag to Douglas about was that he knew me first. Sorry. Jag was someone who was always there to make you laugh. If you were having a bad day, he would be the first to fix it. He was there for every moment during my pregnancies. That includes all the emotional ups and downs I went through, and he would be there to help me through them. That also includes all my cravings. Douglas would always get Jag to go get the food, wherever, from Tim Hortons or wherever, and then they'd make fun of what I was eating. I have so many incredible memories, and I have a lot of them on video too, which I'm very grateful for. My 40th birthday was 10 days before Jag's accident. I had no idea that that day would be the last of us being together. Douglas, Jag, me, Sharon, Jefferson, and my kids. As soon as Jag got to our house that day, the kids were all over him, and they wouldn't let him go. Their Uncle Jaggy. My kids would know, like I just said this, my kids would never let him go. They were all over him. I think Jag loved it and loved hanging out with them more than he did us adults. Like I said, that was only 10 days before his accident. We couldn't believe it. We cried, we prayed, we got to FaceTime him, thank you for that. During our FaceTime while he was in the hospital, we just kept saying that Domino's are waiting for him, hoping that that would help him. I'm sure most of you know that that is what the guys did every evening pretty much, usually in my garage, so I got to be there for all the hilarious and loving moments that come with the game of Domino's. Then, only a couple months after Jag's accident, was the most tragic day of my life. I lost my husband, my soulmate, and now on that exact day, a year later, we're here for our best friend, Jag. It is the worst feeling to be one of the only ones left from our crazy little trio, and to be the one with the memories of all our incredible moments. While it's tragic to think about Jag leaving us too soon, he left behind a lifetime of incredible memories that we can celebrate. Thank you.
Well, Lindsay, you have many losses that you have bore in the last couple years, but those kids are very lucky to have you, and we're lucky to have you here to have shared that story with us. Thank you. So, Kim reflected quite a bit about faith. So back in the 80s, many of you might be familiar, there was an author who started floating the idea for us that we must begin every task with the end in mind. And Stephen Covey didn't just reflect to business or personal growth or hobbies or anything of that sort. But most of all, he encouraged us to begin our life journey with this end in mind. And as we all know, that end can only come to fruition when we have the support and the ability, the opportunity to have spiritual guidance with us. And as Kim reflected very, very wisely and very, very aptly, that spiritual journey of ours is what really sees this meaningful end that we're hearing about, although it's not an end. And for Deepu, for Jag, that spiritual journey really started with the Santanankari mission, and his family has been, through generations, a part of this spiritual movement. And we are fortunate enough to have several guests from that organization here to support the family in their difficult hour. So I would at this point like to request Sunny, Reverend Sunny, to please come up and give us a little bit inspiration, for we know that we are here today for two reasons. Number one, to celebrate this life that was, and number two, to also begin our end this day, today, with that end in mind. So for some inspiration on that, Saniji, please do come forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm grateful to Rituji, Reverend Sister Shaji, to give me this opportunity to share a few words in the beloved memory of Brother Jagdeep Chaudhri. And listening about the life of Jagdeep from his friends, the kind of life that he lived, the kind of virtues, the qualities that he had. I really never met him before, honestly. I had a chance to see Reverend Sister Shaji quite often, but never really had a chance to come close and really get to know about the life of Jagdeep. And I was listening to the very first homage that was given by Sister Kim. And she really touched upon the qualities of Jagdeep. Actually, those are the qualities of a God-realized person in this world. As Sister Rituji mentioned, that the father, Reverend late Parveen Chaudhri, he was in the mission, he was a God-realized saint, and also Shashiji is a God-realized saint. And he has passed on this legacy forward. We also know that most of the qualities are gained from a generation to generation, and also it's a genetic factor as well. The genes, they are being carried forward, and that's how the people are dispossessed. This is how they build their character. This is how they are known in this world. So when I was listening to Sister Kim, she touched upon a very beautiful thing. And I was remembering the same quote from one of the saints and sages. As a matter of fact, every saint and sage tried to bring about this enlightenment, this awakening. And the quote said that we sometimes think that we are human beings having these spiritual experiences. But we are not actually human beings. We are spiritual beings experiencing these human experiences. So without spirit, nothing can be possible. As it has been said in the Bible that in the beginning there was a Word, and the Word was God. And then God created man in his own image. It was never specified which man, which race, which color, which ethnicity, which culture. God was the only creator. And then he created everything, living and non-living things. And then he puts his spirit. So without the spirit, there can be no life. So when one gets connected to this oversoul, our soul gets connected to the oversoul, we get to experience this spirituality. And with the spirituality, as a matter of fact, the qualities that were just being mentioned, they come into our life. We can buy everything, we can buy every comfort, every, we can say, imaginable thing in this world. But the only thing that we cannot buy is the peace, the serenity, and the true happiness, which is called the bliss, which is above senses. I just remember one day in a very stormy weather, in the winter season, I broke down on the side of the highway. And I parked my car, and I was hoping that somebody would show up and help me out in this situation. And there was nobody out there because the road has been shut down by the transportation authorities, like by the police, that nobody can go in that route. So I was alone, standing there, waiting to hope a miracle would happen. And all of a sudden, I saw somebody came out of their farm, and he lived in that particular farmhouse. So he saw me, and he just came out, and he saw me stranded, and he said, I don't know what came into my mind. I just wanted to step out and see somebody is in need. And then I realized myself, I said, well, this is what I was thinking, that I really need help at this time. So then when I tried to connect the dots, this was all because of the God, the Creator, that puts a thought in each and every individual's mind that when we go out and reach out and we help each other, because we have this God's qualities in us. That's why we feel love. That's why we feel compassionate. That's why we feel merciful. That's why we feel forgiving. So as it's been said in the Bible, that the purpose of the theme of this life is to understand wisdom and to gain understanding, the knowledge of the God, the knowledge of the Holy One. So when this realization comes about, then we actually know peace. So this is why Jagdeep was most fortunate to be born in the family of the God-realized people, God-realized saint. And they have been, the mission actually itself preaches the love before everything else, the compassion before everything else. Because in the beginning, a child is born, it's never called a Hindu or a Sikh or a Muslim, it's called a baby or a boy or a girl. And when we come to see this time of the life, we just say, this is such and such person. We don't say this is a Hindu, a Muslim, or a Christian, or any other faith. So that's why this also proves the fact that God is there, God is the doer, God is the creator. He puts his spirit, and spirit doesn't have any race, color, any shape, form, any ethnicity. So we are just one human race. But when this connection comes in between, when we get realized, then the love comes in. Then it just flows spontaneously. Then we just start loving, we start forgiving. And this is what makes the world a better place. Everything else, whatever we have created, it only has added up to more commotion, to more cacophony, to more violence, to more disturbances. But whatever has God created, he has created so peaceful. He has created so mercy. He has a mercy upon everybody. We have a mercy. This is why I was trying to correlate that incident that happened. The God is so merciful that he sent somebody, I don't even know, to help me out in that situation. So God is the creator, the God is the doer, God is behind everything. This super spirit, the super soul, which we are very fortunate to see. Just only a few days ago, there was an inauguration of the Webb telescope, which saw the pictures of the space far and beyond. God has created so much in this whole wide universe. There's so many galaxies. So when the God comes into our life becomes really peaceful, really blissful, and everything else just doesn't matter anymore. So here also, I would really thank Brother Jagdeep to give us the opportunity to really contemplate on the reality, the truth, which this is the truth. We live for a few years, we live our life, and the spirit, it comes from a God, and then it goes into the God. But between that time, the life and the death, the kind of life that we live is always remembered, is always cherished. So this is why I'm thankful that we had this chance to contemplate upon our lives as well as the qualities of Jagdeep. And I also got inspired at the same time, and also pray that may God gives the family and the courage to accept the will. With these words, I will seek forgiveness. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Brother Saniji. So a friend reached out to another friend on the funeral of a mutual friend and asked, how much did he leave behind? And the first friend says, he left it all. Love is the only thing we're going to leave behind and take with us. So now I would like to call upon another beautiful lady who happens to be my mom, and she has a poem, I believe, that's written by another beautiful woman who is a sister of mine, and Mom will come up and share that poem that Shaluji wrote and share her few words with us. Thanks, Mom.
Respected saints, family and friends, we are here not to mourn the death, but to celebrate Deepu as we called him, and Jag as you all know him. I first saw him when I landed as an immigrant to this country, because at the time the planes would land in Montreal, and the Chaudhri family was in Montreal. He addressed me as Masi. Masi means mother's sister, and if you split the word Masi, it means like mom, Ma Jessie. And he was a wonderful young man. He grew up to be, they moved to Barrie, and we had all the opportunity to celebrate weekends together. And all I can say is not goodbye, but maybe we'll meet again. And this beautiful poem has been written by my daughter. Second, Ritu is my oldest. Mind you, I have 6 of them. And Shalu is my second one. And she wrote this. And I was a little nervous. And she says, and Ritu said, Mom, you can do it. Because it brings back memories. I also lost a very dear friend, husband, just last year. It's not easy, but hats off to Shaji. She gives me the inspiration. She gives me the strength. She is a very strong lady. And I'm sorry, tears are natural. But I will relate this poem, and it's beautifully written by Shalu. A life lost too soon. a helping hand, a beautiful smile. He'd always make time to talk for a while. A conqueror of obstacles, survivor and thriver was he, a caring son, and the best big brother he could be. Life is short, and so we've been told, but we still live each day thinking we have time. Well, we'll do it when we are old, but we never know which breath is our last. In this life, we are all running so fast. Take time, slow down, be present. Breathe deep, smile, say I love you. Don't resent. Be at peace, for we never know when we'll meet again, if. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mom. I knew you could do it. So this might be a good place to just share my quick, runnings. As Mom said, we're running, and we're in different stages of life, Deepu and I. So we hung out as kids while we were first, when we immigrated. And then, of course, we all grew up, and I had 4 children, and Deepu had none. And those people who have kids don't hang out with people who don't have kids. We're familiar with that. But in any case, raising 4 children in life, had us running busy. But I can tell you, anytime that I ran, my paths crossed with Deepu. It didn't matter. Never was there a moment where it was like, oh, he would try and I don't see her, or pretend. He would spot me before I even had the opportunity, and before I had even a chance, he would run over, throw his arms around me. Hello, Didi, how are you? How's Jeej? How's Jeej? And how are the kids? And it was just wonderful to see his humility, his loving, kind nature, just wonderful. So at this point, I would like to go back to the friends who do make our life fun. Jefferson, I'd like to call upon Jefferson, please, to come and share your fond memories with us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can't believe I'm back here again. Just been a crazy whirlwind of a year. First, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today, Jaggy's family and friends, for celebrating his life. Shaji, you know how much he really loves you. Vinita, Bindia, he loves you guys so much. His nieces and nephews, you guys were his world. Wayne and George, he looked up to you guys. You guys were his brothers. Jaggy and me crossed paths about 30 years ago. Even though we went to different schools, had different friends at the time, we still had a connection. We kept in touch during that time, but the last 10, 15 years was the best memories of our friendship. Jag was a very courageous man. He just had the confidence that when you're around him that, he brings out the smile and laughter inside of you. He was different than anyone else. The way how people treated him with his eyesight and his physical appearance never prevented him from being the person he wanted to be. He achieved those goals he wanted to be. He was a great man, a great friend, a great family member. Jag wasn't just one of my friends. He was my family. Always there for me during good times and bad times. Anytime you have a friend like that to laugh without, anytime you have a friend like that, laughing, hardly even trying, that was Jag. He just made me laugh all the time. He didn't even have to try. The best part was being together was love of dominoes. We got Poppy Pops here, we got Rasta, we got Anthony, we got Ewart, we got Andy, we got Andy. We just got a few of the friends in here that we were always there playing dominoes together and sharing that friendship together and that love for one another. The fodder, the memories. Not a lot of pictures and photographs because we have so much memories as being together. and taking a lot less pictures, which I wish we took more pictures, but hopefully other people got more pictures of us, and that would bring back the great memories that we have together. We all share the same love for our beloved Raptors, like during the championship series, like we were all in the garage. We had the biggest cheer together, the biggest jump-up party, crying, laughing, can't believe it. Like, it was the most unbelievable experience we ever experienced in our lives. 25 years, never saw them won, and we saw them won together. That's for sure, Jay. We saw them won together, brother. The Leafs, same thing. The Blue Jays, we saw them won together. That was the best times of our lives. Jaggy never had kids of his own, but his nieces and nephews, he really loved you guys. You guys meant the world to him. There's never a time he hung up with me that he never spoke about you guys, constantly, every single one of you. It's never one time he never talked about you guys. I never expected July 14th, a date like today. I would never forget Jag being so close to Douglas, and to be put to rest on the same day Douglas passed would be considered unbelievable. But in my eyes, they show that they are together for each other, and they are brothers in arms. There's one quick Bible quote I'd like to say before I finish. It just really brings me closer to Jag and the thoughts for the past year. It's Isaiah chapter 57, chapter 1, verse 2. It said, "The righteous perish, and no one takes it to heart. The devout are taken away. And no one understands that the righteous are taken away to be spared from evil. Those who walk uprightly enter into peace. They find a rest as they lie in death." Thanks again. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jefferson, for that lovely sentiment and dedication. So everybody talked about the lovely nieces and nephews. So I actually have the names here, and I did want to mention each and every one of you beautiful individuals. And so Jag was uncle to Maya, Damien, Mikhail, Desiree, Tyrell, and Naisha. Beautiful names, beautiful faces, and your uncle will love you forever. And whenever you guys feel you need that guidance, you just have to think of him, and he will be there being your guardian angel. And of course, he was loving older brother to Bindia and Vinita. And at this point, I'd like to request Vinita, if you can do it, come and give your heartfelt dedication for your loving brother.
Okay, everyone just bear with me because obviously I'm really nervous. So, hello, for those of you who may not know, my name is Vinita, and I am Deepa's youngest sister. Although many of you knew him as various names, that is who he was to me. I never thought that yet again I would be standing here 6 years later after my father passed away, saying goodbye to my brother. I fell in love with my brother the moment I laid my eyes on him as a baby. From childhood to adulthood, my brother was my best friend. The two of us as siblings had such a loving relationship. We protected one another always. Maybe I was a little crazy protective, and it would annoy him for sure, but nonetheless, it was always out of love, which he knew. I have to say, losing Deepa is a tremendous loss. To many friends and family who knew him, he was a loving, fun, goofy, positive individual. Deepa fought for his life from birth at 14 weeks premature to child and in adulthood, strived striving to survive in this world. He continued his fight till he no longer could, leaving us with his legacy on July 5th, just 2 days shy of his 47th birthday. He was thrown many challenges along the way, but he never let anything bring him down. He fought every challenge along the way with such grace and positivity, which is what made him to be the wonderful man that he was. His family, friends, and definitely nieces and nephews will miss him so much. Deepa impacted each and everyone's life in this room in a different way. His motivation and drive for life was such an admirable trait that he possessed. His laughter and courageous attributes will stay with us in our hearts forever. Although many of us are hurting and still probably very confused as to how this has happened to such an amazing person, we have to remember that Deepa wouldn't want us crying, but instead will want us to live happy knowing he's watching over us, still smiling. His family and friends were everything to him. That was to him the meaning of life and love. So let's support one another through this terrible loss that we have all endured to honor his name, who he was, and what he would want from each and every one of us. No one can truly understand what it is like to lose a sibling at such a young age. But just remember this: life is too short and can be taken at any given moment. Love one another. Let the little things go before it's too late. My husband Wayne and I spoke to Deepa 15 minutes before his accident. The last thing we said to one another was, "I love you." His last breath was by my side. I will hold that in my heart till the end of my time, knowing he knew we were still together till the end. I love you, Deepa. We all do, and you will always be in our hearts. On to the next journey in life. Go be with Dad. Party with your boy Douglas. And many other loved ones gone. I would like to now please take a 30-second moment of silence. I would like to say to all of everyone that has come out here, thank you to everyone who is here today, and those watching from afar who couldn't make it here. Your love and support for my dear brother means so much to my family and to Deepa. And to Mom, you are the strongest woman I've ever known. Just, you always have our support. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinita. I know how difficult that was for you, but well done, darling. And now, as we approach the conclusion of today's program, I would like to shift our focus again towards that aspect of our journey, of our life, that allows us to face these sorts of events in our life with courage, with strength, words that give us solace, words that make sense of this thing called life. And for that, I would like to now lean upon a beloved member of our Sant Nirkari mission, a very senior member who has been a guiding light for youngsters like myself, well, not so young anymore, but since I was a youngster, and has had a huge role to play in shaping this several generations of people from young youth and people from our mission, and we lovingly call him Shaji. Shaji, please come and give your blessings to this membership that's here today and help us get through this difficult time. And then after that, we will have prayers from another senior member who is the head of our Toronto branch, but first Shaji.
Respected all brothers, sisters, and dear saints, say with love and encourage. We are here to celebrate the life of Jagdeep Chaudhri Sahab. I'm so grateful to have known this family, Chaudhri family, since 1963. And since then, I learnt a lot from this family. Praveen Chaudhry's elder brother, Gyan Chaudhry Sahab, he was senior to me. A great saint, a great follower of this mission. And he has a firm faith in God. जिसको हम कह सकते हैं unshaken. And Jagdeep Chaudhri belongs to the same generation. When I look around the family, Rishi's family, sister Ritu ji, इनकी मदर अभी we just listen to her. It's the firm faith they have in God. We all have to go one day. Lekin the composer, the strength they have, how we accept the will of God. Life comes and goes, but how we live from birth to the end of the day, that's the real life. How we live. We have learned, we have read about saints and sages. They have gone for centuries ago. We still remember their names in the respect and above our heads. We preach their words, the divine words, how they lived their life. When I look at this family, this is what this family is. This is what their family is. I came to this country in 1972, and Chaudhry family came in 1973. So since then we have bond relations again through the mission, personal relations, through their love and affection. It's a great, great followers of this great mission. Firm faith in God, unshakable, I could see. We have an example. Shashi Bahanji. how strong she is. I became emotional when I came to this room. I was a bit emotional, but the way she received me, I was getting some energy. This is what the way she is accepting the will of God. We don't have a choice but to accept the will of the Lord. This is beyond our control. This is beyond our control, but as I said, how do we live our life? We all have to live one day. Lord Jesus Christ said that enlightened souls, like Jagdeep ji, his father, Reverend Chaudhri ji, these kind of souls, enlightened souls, they never die. They live forever. These are the divine words of Lord Jesus Christ. He said, "He that heareth my words, he that heareth my words and believeth on him hath everlasting life, and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death into life." They live forever. Jagdeep ji, his father, his grandparents, they are still with us. They will never go. They are around us. We could feel the surroundings. This is what the spirituality is. If somebody wants to have a good life, not only listen to the words of the divine words of our Lords, our Masters, but to imbibe in our daily life, the journey of life becomes very comfortable and enjoyable. जिन्नी सुन के मन्या तिना बिठों कुर्बान. In the end, I will say, he left a great legacy. We listened to Jagdeep's class fellows, Kim and Lindsay, how good he was. This was his legacy: cheerfulness, friendship, flowers. And so long as we are in this world, we all will remember his love. All remember his love. He will always be remembered. There is one saying, but it's in Hindi. The souls like him, like his father, physically they go, but they're still with us. The line says, "Basti dil di duniya sada abad rehti hai, kabhi naashad nahi hoti, sada hi shaad rehti hai. Jism se dur hone par bhi dil se juda nahi hote, ye jindabad marne ki bhi jinki yaad rehti." Body goes, but they will be remembered forever. Jagdeep ji, he will be missed by all of us and remembered by all of us. With these words, thank you very much.
Thank you, Shaji. And now, as I said, the final part of today's program, I would very humbly like to request our respected head of our Toronto branch of Sant Nirankari Mission, Parduman Singh ji, to come forward and pray for Jag's soul. As we've been hearing, the soul is the real stuff, the truth, and now it's going to its end of its journey into the super soul. So to pray for his soul, to pray for that, that merger, to give guidance and to recognize and pray to the Almighty that he was a very blessed soul. He came from a very noble family, and he was raised with the spiritual guidance. And so we pray to the Almighty that in his final step here, he embraces him into his bosom. And for this prayer, I would like to request Pradman Singh Ji to please come forward.
Respected saints, say with one voice, thank God. Satgur Mata Sadiksha Savinder Hardev Ji Maharaj Ki Jai. All of us are present here today in the memory of Reverend Jagdeep Chaudhri Ji, most beloved son of late respected Praveen Chaudhri Ji and Bahan Shaji Chaudhri Ji, who left us physically and merged with Rankar, formless. I express my deepest condolences to the family, to the entire family sitting in the hall here, for this loss, and pray to formless Nirakar, Almighty, for the family to give strength to accept the divine will. I humbly request everyone to join me in the prayer to Nirankar Satguru and pay our final tribute to Reverend Jagdeep Chaudhri जी। काफ़ी उनके गुणों का जिक्र किया गया। नौजवान में इतनी हम्बलनेस, इतने गुणों का मालिक, ओबीडियंट, हुक्म मानने वाला, जे बहुत ही एक ग्रेट सपुत्र माता पिता का, सबका प्यारा, आँखों से ज़रूर जुदा हो गया है, लेकिन आपके हृदयों में, सभी के हृदयों में जो स्थान बना करके गया है, उसके लिए ताकत मिलती है। और ऐसे मौके पर जब बैरी में पहुंच करके सारे स्पेशली निरंकारी परिवार को या आपके फ्रेंड्स सर्कल को दास देखता है, तो ताकत मिलती है कि दुख सुख में किस प्रकार से आप इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं, शामिल हो जाते हैं। आप हमारी ताकत हैं। और फिर दास देखता है किस प्रकार से सारे परिवार ने, प्रकृति ने जो शरीर दिया था, किस प्रकार से वो खुशी खुशी वापस दिया गया, और इस निरंकार की इच्छा को किस प्रकार एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं। आई रियली अप्रिशिएट। आप सभी को देख करके ताकत मिल रही है, लाइक आई हैव सेड। तो दास के साथ शामिल होकर के फाइनल ट्रिब्यूट टू रेवरेंड जगदीप चौधरी जी को हम बधाई देते हैं। संपूर्ण अवतार वाणी शब्द नंबर 28। सबर सिदक दा चोला होवे, तेरा एक सहारा रहे, साधु रह के दुनिया अंदर, बांग कमल दे न्यारा रहे, तेरे अंदर खावे पीवे, तेरे अंदर डेरा रहे, ਗੰਗਾ ਵਾਂਗੂ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਹੋਵੇ, ਨਾ ਤੇਰਾ ਨਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਰਹੇ, ਨਾ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਨਾ ਮੁਸਲਮ ਜਾਣੇ, ਭੇਦ ਨਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਈਸਾਈ ਦਾ, ਉੱਚਾ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਨੀਵਾਂ ਸਮਝੇ, ਮਾਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਾਨਾਈ ਦਾ, ਸਬਰ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਤੇ ਸਮਦ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਟੀ, ਸੰਤ ਜਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਗਹਿਣਾ ਏ, ਸੰਤ ਜਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਜੇਵਰ, ਪਾਣੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਏ, ਸੰਤ ਹਰੀ ਦੇ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਮੇਰੇ, ਕੋਲ ਸਭਾ ਤੇ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਮੇਰੇ, ਕਹੇ ਅਵਤਾਰੇ ਨਾ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਲੱਖਾਂ ਹੀ ਪ੍ਰਣਾਮ ਮੇਰੇ। ਤੇਰਾ ਤੁਝ ਕੋ ਅਰਪਣ, हे ਸਮਰੱਥ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ, हे निर्गुण निराकार, इस जग के हर जीव को तेरा ही आधार, निरंकार है तेरा नाम, पूर्ण है सब तेरे काम, तेरी लीला तू यों जाने, तेरी महिमा कौन बखाने, दीनहीन हम जीव हैं, निर्बल और कमज़ोर, रजा में तेरी रह पाएँ, विनय करें कर जोर, प्राणपति सृष्टि के नाथ, जन्म मरण है तेरे हाथ, तेरी वस्तु तुझे समर्पित, सब कुछ है तुझको ही अर्पित, तेरी ज्योत से ज्योति आई, तेरी ज्योत में ज्योत समाई, गुरु ज्ञान से मुक्ति पाई, संतों के संग प्रीत निभाई, अपनी है बस ये अरदास, डोले ना अपना विश्वास, हुक्म तेरा करता स्वीकार, नतमस्तक सारा परिवार, पल पल हैं हम बुल्लनहार, बख्शो तुम है बख्शनहार, तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार, तू ही निरंकार। इसी प्रार्थना के साथ प्यार से कहना धन्यवाद। Thank you.
Thank you for the blessing, Reverend Pradyuman Singh Ji. So this concludes our program today. One final time, on my behalf and the behalf of the Chaudhri family, I would like to thank you all for attending this program today. And now the family requests. Lunch is going to be served at the house. And I believe I wrote yes, it's 100 Krupp Road? Oh, Nup Road, sorry. I should have worn my glasses, I knew that. But thank you very much, and at this time I'd like to request the family, immediate family, to please come up and say your final goodbye to your brother.